Hello my friends and welcome. Katie here with Eastwick's Paper and Ink. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm here as part of the Inspired By series hosted by Alicia, aka Call Me Crafty Al, and we each secretly selected a project that inspires us. On screen is Alicia's project that has inspired me. I simply love the simple layout, the easy watercoloring and embossing, and of course she had me at the pop of foil. Let's get started. So for some of the supplies that I'm going to be using, I've got my Fine Tech 12 palette metallic watercolors, and I'm going to be using the interference colors they look more white on the palette. I've got a number 6 watercolor brush. I've also got my favorite things Stitch Snowdrift dies, and I'm going to be using that particular one there. I've also got my Stonehenge black watercolor paper, and they're cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And the card bases that I'm going to be using, which I don't show, is 130 pound weight in black. This is the foil I'll be using, which is the Spellbinders Speckled Prism. It's hot foil. Not going to be hot foiling though. I'm going to show you a different technique. And then I've just got some silver embossing powder from Brutus Monroe and embossing ink and a couple of different stamp sets that I'm going to be using and pulling from Simon Says Stamp. So I just added a little bit of water to each of the pans that I'm going to be using. Usually you have to let those sit for a few minutes to soften up that watercolor pan, especially for metallics, and then you're able to mix them around and get a nice creamy consistency. So for this first color, you're going to see it here in just a second. My hand is in the way, but I'm just basically straight up and down with my paintbrush and go, up and down to create some fine strokes. The color I'm using is called Blue Pearl. So it actually has a little bit of white with it. Obviously, you can see from the palette that it is white. Anyway, it's an interference color, so it changes color on dark cardstock. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to use that, because all the other colors, you can see what they are, but these interference colors, you really can only tell what they are on dark cardstock. And I thought it'd be fun to take this particular layout that Alicia did and use these interference colors. So I'm going to show you each of the panels as I paint them so that you can see the colors. This next color is called Green Pearl, and so it's going to come out green on the black black watercolor paper. And now, but when I get to the next stages, I will only show one, with the exception of when I start to put the cards together, because I do use 2 different sentiments on the outside of the cards, and so I do one of each because there's 2 of the same sentiments for 2 cards, because I made a set of 4. So again, this is the Green Pearl, and I'm just doing an up and down stroke. And one of the things I loved about this was it's so organic. You don't have to be perfect, but it really creates stunning, impactful results, and it's super simple to do. You can use any metallic paints. You don't have to use the Fine Tech. Gansai Tambi makes them. You could use your Altenew, your Arteza, any metallic watercolor paints, you could do the same and get the same effect. It doesn't have to be the interference ones. Now, this color, I absolutely love it, is the Shining Pink. Now, you see where I was pulling from in the pan, the one that's right above that up at the top of the screen. That one I didn't use, but is also an interference color, and that's called Fine Gold. So it comes out gold on the dark cardstock, which is really pretty also. Last but not least is called Fine Lilac. Now, this is a really, really pretty purple. Now, one of the other things that I absolutely love, I love foiling. I love hot foiling. I didn't really get on the wagon with the thermal web because it seemed like there's a lot of things that you needed. And I love doing my hot foiling because it's, you know, you just have one machine, and the dies you can use to stamp with ink. You don't have to hot foil with those. So I thought I would show you now really quick. I'm just showing you that I line up that die, that Snowdrift die, right in the center. Alicia had this really cool Creative Memories decorative wavy trimmer, and that's what she used to cut hers out. I didn't have that, so that's why I'm using my Snowdrifts die. And I do take my little sewing pencil that has white chalk in it, and I use that to create my line because it's dark cardstock. She used a pencil because she used white, but that's an option. So I'm using 1-inch double-sided adhesive tape. This is a score pal tape or score tape. And then I'm taking my hot foil. This is the speckled prism, and I'm just putting the pretty side up, and I'm adding it to the adhesive. So if you ever wondered if you could, just like with the thermal web foils, you can absolutely just use some tape and get the same effect. Also, if you have the sticky, you know, embossing powder that Ranger makes, or several other companies, you can use that too to add foil to your project. You don't have to, because it's a form of adhesive. So you don't have to just not buy those hot foils, because some of them are really, really pretty and are not the same as thermal web in color combinations and things. So you can, you know, use them in different ways. So for the snowflakes, I pulled those snowflakes from the Simon Says Stamp Comfort and Joy stamp set. And then I used the Believe in the Magic of Christmas stamp set from the Magic of Christmas stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. Now, I make 2 cards like this, but I'm only going to show you this one in the green. And then the next one I'm going to show you is the same, except I switched the sentiments out to the Christmas one that comes in that same Magic of Christmas stamp set. Now, as you go through and you watch me emboss and put the cards together, if you're not familiar with Alicia's channel, Call Me Crafty Al, everything's going to be linked down below. I'm excited to see what she selected of mine. And so I hope you click the link below and go head over and watch. And if you're not familiar, that you subscribe to her channel. I think it's absolutely fabulous what she is doing for small creators and crafters like myself here on YouTube. She's trying to use her powers, if you will, of having a larger channel to show her people new content creators and to get new inspiration from other crafters. So if you're new here and you're from Alicia's channel, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I hope you enjoy the video. You go ahead and hit subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and select all notifications so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you're not familiar with Alicia, please subscribe to her channel. Encourage and support her kindness that she's doing for all of us smaller crafters, because it really, really is appreciated. And it's you guys that make things like this happen. So for the sentiment you see here is the next card. It says, have a Merry, Merry Christmas. And then I just use the same snowflakes, same embossing powder, the sterling embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. And once I get those heat set, I just start putting the cards together, and I'm just using some liquid glue. I find that gives me a little bit more wiggle room when I have to really be precise and line things up like I do with these panels. Now, the card base I'm using is Neenah Classic Crest Epic Black in 130-pound weight. All my supplies that I'm using today are going to be listed in the description box below. Some of them are affiliates, and I would love it if you would support the channel and click on those links. It doesn't cost you anything extra when you make a purchase after you click those links. It just puts a little bit of commission in my pocket to help continue to make fantastic videos for you guys. So here I'm just adhering the top of the panel down, and then I'm going to do the same for the bottom. And then we're going to go on to the inside of the panel. So for the inside panel of the card base rather. So the card panel that I'm going to use for the inside is the Gina K Designs white layering, and I'm going to take that same snowflake that's up at the top of the outside panel and put that down in the lower corner. And then for the inside sentiment, that stamp comes from Christmas Wishes, which is also from Simon Says Stamp, and it reads, "Wishing you health and happiness this holiday season and the year to come." I'm inking the snowflake up in delicata-silvery-shimmer ink and the sentiment in the delicata-black-shimmer. And it's subtle shimmers, for the inside, but I figure why not? We got all kinds of sparkle going on the outside. We might as well have a little bit on the inside. So again, liquid glue on the inside panel and just some art glitter glue. And then I get everything lined up. And I do have a little bit of a border. So those panels are, again, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just to give a nice little edge. And here I try to show some of the iridescent sparkle from that speckled prism foil, and it just, the colors of the metallics picks up some of that prism effect, and it gives a nice little rainbow color effect on the cards, and I just think they turned out fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Don't forget, click the link in the description box below and follow along over to Alicia's channel and check her out. And don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video.